Hey everybody, good evening and welcome to yet another Max Creative Challenge. I'm here with my friend Temi Coker. Welcome, Temi.
Yes. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
it's really great to see you in chat. It's also awesome to see you as well. If you're in the chat, give us a shout out. I'm sure Temi and I would love to see your names. And for the next 30 minutes, Temi is going to be taking us into his process for creating a virtual photo booth background in Photoshop. And this is really exciting, chat. If you want to participate as well, you can follow along. I think there's a link in the chat to the written tutorial as well as the assets that Temi is going to be using for you to use as well. And if you post those on social with the hashtag Max Creative Challenge, you could win a free year of Creative Cloud, which is really awesome.
Yep,
There
that
you
is.
go. Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
chat, give Temi a big welcome. And Temi, can you introduce yourself for the folks that might not know you?
Yeah. So my name is Temi Coker. I was born and raised in Lagos, Nigeria, and I am currently living in Dallas, Texas. I'm a photographer and graphic designer. Here is my Behance page. I love to merge photography and graphic design together. And so I try to bring those two mediums together to kind of evoke emotion. And I play with color and I play with patterns and different things like that. And here's my Instagram as well, Tami.Coker. And I do a lot of these type of things where I can merge photography and graphic design together. And I can't wait to share with you guys how we're going to go about making our backdrop.
Yeah, really exciting. If you've checked out the tutorial already, chat, you'll see that this is a really cool asset. So I'm excited to see how you make it, Tami.
Thanks.
Yeah, let's jump in.
All right. So here is my friend Corey. Corey, if you're here, shout out to you. Thank you for letting me take this picture of you. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take Corey out of this background and we're going to put him into a colorful background and something futuristic. So here's the completed piece. Here's what it's going to look like. I'm going to zoom in here so you guys can see the details. I always use this squiggly pattern. And here is a picture of the sky, and I added some clouds and some shadows. And I also made his shoe bright. I'm very like detailed oriented, so things that people might not notice, I always notice. His shoes were too dark,
Wow.
so I just made it white. So yeah, let's jump and get right into it. So here's the picture of Bowie. Um, and what I like to do is, there's some tools in Photoshop where you can select people out of the background, and I love that. But with this, there's so many sharp edges that it might capture everything else, including him. So what I usually do is I try to go in and use the pen tool to kind of make my cuts.
Wow.
One cool thing with the pen tool is that you kind of see it almost like a scissors, right? So it's cutting things very sharp. Um, it looks intimidating, but I promise you guys, it is pretty simple, um, and it is a game changer because now I have more precision and control over what I want to cut. And the cool trick is, I always cut part of the outfit out
Hmm.
because then my lines are cleaner. Because if I try to cut right at the edge of his pants, it might not look as clean. So what I like to do is I like to just cut in a little bit into the subject. Um, and so me using the pen tool right now, I know it looks um, very easy. And I know when you start trying to use the pen tool, you might be frustrated, but just keep at it. This is like 5 years of just understanding how the pen tool works and pretty much almost using it every day. I started something called a poster day. The funny story is MacDL was the person that actually inspired me to start it. Me and him met at a coffee shop, and he was showing me what he was working on.
Wow.
Like, man, I want to get into design and be as good in design as I am in photography. And he was like, okay, sure, let's do it. And so it was like a challenge that we made for each other. Um, I think he was on like day 30 at the time, and I was on like day one. And if you go to my website, you can actually see my first poster, um, versus like the poster I made on day 340 or something. So there's a lot of growth in there, and I kind of like to document it.
Hey, Magdale knew that you're talking about him. He's here in the chat.
Yeah.
What's up, Magdale? Good to
What's up,
see you.
MacDL? I'm actually
We're
hanging out with him on Friday.
Oh, there you
So
go.
yeah.
That's awesome. So much design power in one room.
Oh man, me and MacDL used to work together at a church, and that's how we met. And I just remember like he was just always open to like helping me out and teaching me, because at that time I wasn't really good in design. But he didn't like
Yeah,
look down on me. He was like, "Yeah, here's how I did this." So
that's awesome. I noticed that yesterday about Magdale, how free he is with sharing his
yeah,
techniques. A lot of
yeah, it
people could be
inspired.
pretty hidden about those, but it's
Oh,
really awesome.
exactly. Yeah, one thing I've just always remembered is like your superpower is you, and no one can replicate that. And like as an artist, you don't lose your candle lighting another candle. You don't lose your lights. Sorry, lighting another candle. And so I think we're here to inspire each other. A lot of us get our ideas from other artists, honestly, and we just have
Hmm.
to figure out a way to find our style through that. You know,
Right.
and I think like a lot of the things that I've started doing have been um, through trial and error and mistakes, beautiful mistakes. And yeah.
There you go. And a lot of people in the chat are saying that your skill with the pen tool is like crazy. But I think that this specific workflow, like cutting out something that's so complex, is great
Mhm.
practice. It's just like jumping in the deep end.
Definitely, yeah, it is. And before, I used to be so lazy and I just never cared like about sharp edges, but now I'm very particular because now I know how to use the pen tool. So if it's gonna take me like uh 20 minutes to do something, I would still do it. That's just kind of how particular I am with um knowing what I know now. Because I think
Right.
in the past I would have just been like, this is a lot of work. I'll do this another time. you
Yeah, you
know.
know the value in it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got your model, Corey Wynn, in the chat. What's up, Corey?
What's up, Corey?
Good to see ya.
Corey's debut at Adobe Live.
Woohoo! Your shoes are
um,
nice and crispy, Corey. We like them.
yeah, Corey is really dope. So yeah, essentially what I'm gonna do after I cut this out is I'm pretty much like going to bring some clouds in, bring the background in, and show you guys little tips and tricks that I do um, for backgrounds and whatnot. And honestly, I play a lot with blending modes.
Hmm.
And sometimes you get like beautiful results from it. And so I always like if I get stuck, my go-to tools are like the blending modes and the hue and saturation.
Oh,
Yeah, because they give you results that you weren't even expecting or even thought about.
right.
So I love I love that about Photoshop.
Yeah, me too.
Oh,
Especially those live previews for the blend modes. Like, I just love
yes,
scrolling through that.
when it
Instant
came out,
inspiration. Yeah, I
yeah,
know.
when it came out, that was a big deal for me because
Hmm.
now I could actually see things happening in real life. All right, so here is Corey, pretty cut. I am a little bit OCD, so I'm just gonna fix this part right here.
Okay. And how did you like close your selection and delete?
Yeah. So essentially, I'll actually go back. What I do is once I have the shape, I hold down Command. If you have Windows, you can hold down Control, and I press on the shape. I click on the shape, and it makes it into a quick selection for me. And so
Perfect.
now I click on Bowie, and I press Alt, and I click on the mask. Oops, sorry. I actually don't press Alt. I keep getting that confused. I press on the mask, and now it maxed him out for me. And so I can
Awesome.
do the same thing here with this thing on this hat. So I'm gonna just take that out, hold down Command, click here. Now I can go into the mask and use a black and take that out.
There you
And I
go. I
think
do
this
that all
is,
the time. I get them mixed
yeah.
up.
Oh yeah, for sure. But one thing I've learned is like black conceals, white reveals. So black is like if you turn the lights off, it's just dark, right?
There you go.
Um, and whites you can see. So yeah, so now what I'm gonna do is I brought the background in. If you look at my work, some of my favorite colors are like mustard yellows. I don't know why, but I just love it.
Feel
Um,
ya.
and, and now I usually just go to the blending modes. Like this color burn looks really nice, but I think I want to go with the pin light. So it almost looks like a painting type of feel. Another thing I'm gonna do is in my adjustments, I like to make my subjects black and white because it gives me more control on the color. Um, and then I like to add the curves just to kind of make it a little bit darker. Now, if Bowie was black, I would like make his skin darker. Um, but I like this and I like what I see here. And now I'm gonna bring in the cloud. So this cloud, you can find it from any picture really. Adobe Stock, Unsplash. I saw that Adobe Stock released some free stock stuff. So that was a very smart move.
Yeah.
I love that. Like 77,000 of them or something.
A lot. I think it's just
Yeah.
stock.adobe.com/free will get you to the free
Wow.
stuff.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Um, yeah, so what I like to do with my clouds, I like to stack it, right? So I got about two more clouds here. And I like to put it on, let me see, luminosity. Because it kind of gives the shadows behind the cloud. And so what I do here is for this top cloud, this one right there in the back, I'm gonna just make it a little bit brighter. So now our cloud almost looks very realistic and yeah. And so I'm
Cool.
gonna have this as, I'm gonna make this a little bit brighter. So now it actually looks like,
Sorry, before
I'm
you went
sorry.
on, I was just going to ask how you went about selecting the cloud because I noticed it has like a pretty soft edge.
Yeah, so if you're able to like find PNG clouds, those are very
Mhm.
easy to find. If you find a picture with the cloud, you can actually go into the object select tool and select it, and then go into the I believe it's the mask at the top.
Yeah,
Yes,
select and
selected
mask.
mask and
Hmm.
refine edge brush tool and get the edges how you like.
Yes,
And then now
perfect.
have that on the iPad, which is really impressive. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so all of this here is just to kind of give the cloud some depth. So now I kind of like how it's looking. One thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to add some shadows underneath here so it looks realistic, because right now it looks like just fake, you know? So I'm going to make a new layer here. I'm going to use black. I'm going to make sure my brush is soft. And once you zoom in, based on how it's sitting, I think the shadow should be kind of like that. And then here, and I'm going to make my brush a little smaller, and then probably somewhere around here.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, and then I reduced the opacity, so now you kind of get that shadow look
Nice. I
on
like how
there.
you're really concerned with it looking realistic, although it's such a surreal image. I think that's a really nice contrast.
Yeah, it's very important. I think like even for me right now, if I had more time, I would go into the pants and actually make it black so that this shadow doesn't show there, because
Huh?
that yeah, I mean it's fine. It looks cool, but I'm kind of like, yeah, I wish I could have more time to go in there.
Yeah.
Um, so now I'm going to add the rectangle behind them. Um, so based on my layers here, I know it has to be behind the cloud. So there we go. And I love the color. It's kind of like blue, but not fully blue, not fully sky blue. All right, so I have this here. And so I have this pattern here that I made using Photoshop actually. And it's called the reaction diffusion. If you guys want to look it up, there are different ways to do it. Um, and you can get different results. So I'm just going to hold down Alt here and clip it to this rectangle here. And now I get to play with the blending modes.
Yes.
So I like the color burn, looks really promising. Overlay looks pretty promising too, and soft light. So I'm probably gonna go with maybe overlay and see what that looks like. And I reduced the opacity so that it's very subtle.
There you go.
Yeah, so now we have Bowie sitting on the sky. And one thing I like to do is I like to make sure it's centered. So I just hold down Command and click on the rectangle and the background color. And I just go up here and align it. So now that that is
nice.
aligned, yeah. So now that that is aligned, I'm gonna move Bowie and the cloud just a little bit here.
Very nice. So while we're waiting, I'm really interested if the chat is going to be participating with you. Chat, are you going to make a challenge entry and post it with the hashtag? I want one of you guys to win a free year of Creative Cloud. So I really hope you do.
Me too. Please win. Please win. So essentially what I'm doing now is I'm just I'm trying to put a shadow behind Bowie. So all I did was I just pretty much copied this layer and painted it black. And then you can go into filter, blur, Gaussian blur, just to kind of give that effect. And then I like to play with the opacity as well. And that looks a little bit too far, so probably gonna do something like that and reduce it a little bit even more. It's very subtle. And then I think lastly, his shoes were a little bit too dark for my liking. And since I already cut him out of the background, what I'm essentially going to do here is I only need to care about the inside of his shoe because the outside is already cut out. Mm-hmm. So that's the cool thing about like the way I use the selection tool. If I've already cut something out, I don't have to like work that hard again. And I'll show you guys what I mean by that. So now I'm just tracing the inside of his shoe. I don't really care about the outside because there's nothing else there. Let's see here. Okay. So what's cool about this technique here is, I'm going to clip it to the layer of Bowie. And so if I had time to like really draw a shoe, I could. But then I could also use different blending modes and give his shoe different feels. If I wanted to, I could bring the pattern in here and kind of have it just on his shoe if I wanted to. So there's different.
Sweet.
You like that, yeah?
Yeah.
So there's different possibilities, but I liked it white, and I think I used, I think I used soft light. So before and after.
Cool. So it really just kind of lightens everything and really blows out that highlight.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I could go into like the adjustment layer and do that. But when I was working on this, I was really trying to use a different color and not white, but I ended up just going with white.
Yeah, it just looks better.
Yeah.
There you go. Nice. So you're really not carrying around that caring about that outline because you've already got it
Yeah,
cut out.
exactly, because everything is clipped. So I'm learning to work smarter, not harder all the time. So so yeah, soft lights. So this is before and after, and now we kind of have like a completed piece. But I'm
Wow.
really curious what it would look like if I started adding like the patterns in there. So I'm just gonna make the patterns a little bit smaller for both shoes, possibly. And I'm just gonna hold down Command again and click. You probably can't see it, but there's like a selection there.
Uh,
And holding the, oops, sorry, selection here. Holding the mask and then just clipping it. So now we have like this nice shoe. And if I give it a different color, using a different blending mode, now we kind of
whoa.
have some kind of have something here. So that's kind of how I just like experimenting because that's where that's where the fun is for me. Um,
Right.
so yeah, I think this is pretty much it. I could change his shoes, but
Oh, that
yeah.
looks good.
Oh, one last thing. I'm gonna change his hat. I'm gonna just give it a different color here.
All right, let's see what you land on.
It's, I'm
Who knows what
feeling
it'll be?
Yeah, I'm feeling yellow right now, but we shall see.
It looks like a chef's hat right now.
Yeah, sometimes I've made stuff on accident. Yeah, I could give like the screen look.
Ooh, Corey, what do you think? If you're still watching.
Yeah, Corey, if you're still here, let me know. So yeah, there's like so many possibilities. I could just leave it as or color it as black or something. But yeah,
Boom. There you go. So just in a couple steps, you cut out the figure, you added the clouds, made that shape in the background.
hmm
It's pretty simple, but it's a really striking result.
thanks. Yeah, and like if you want to add some noise, which I like to do for just that little texture, so you guys can see.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just go to filter noise, and I pick the uniform or Gaussian, depending on how I feel. But there you go. I think
Awesome.
it looks pretty good.
Yeah, thanks, Tami, for sharing. We just have a couple minutes left. So before we do our outro, Paco, maybe we can check out the schedule for tomorrow because this is the last stream of the day. So come
Right.
back tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time for another Max Creative Challenge. We're going to be in Premiere Pro with Marissa Joyner making some custom GIFs or GIFs, depending what kind of person you are. And then, yeah, we have a bunch of other streams to round out the last day of Max. So make sure you come back for that. Tami, where can people follow you on the internets?
Yes, you guys can find me on Instagram, Temi, Temi.Coker. And my website is tamicoker.co. Um, yeah, and you can find me on Behance as well. I do have a shop. It's currently down because my print. I have a printer at home. It's currently faulty, so I'm trying to get it fixed this week. But yeah, you guys feel free to DM me, email me. My email is right there. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Right now, I'm exploring augmented reality with my posters, so kind of giving like a 3D feel to a lot of things. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I've seen that, I think, on your Instagram stories. So people,
Yes.
follow Tami, get the good stuff. We're going to pop out of here for now. But Tami, thanks for being here. Really
Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much.
Yay. And
Thank
we'll be
you.
back tomorrow, everybody. So have a great night and come back tomorrow for more Adobe Max. Goodbye.
Awesome. Bye, guys.